G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for a quick news update on patch 1.2.1 for Grim Dawn. Before we get into that, however, I do need to point out that the supporter pack number 3 is now available for those of you playing on Xbox, and the previous supporter packs as well should also be available. I've also prepared a couple of characters here just so you can have a quick look at how the sets look. This main hand weapon is not part of the set, neither are the gloves or boots, but the rest of this is part of the Ratosh set. Then you have the ethereal set. I've swapped the helmet out because I'm not a fan of the massive popped collar, but otherwise this set looks really good for my Aether Death Knight. I also have the Warlock that I'm doing a Let's Play series on at the moment, and most of this gear is from the set. The weapon and book are from other in-game items, and you don't need legs or boots because you just don't have any while you're floating around. And then this is Elzun's set, which is probably the fanciest one of the lot. It does also come with a two-handed weapon, but this particular character doesn't use a two-handed weapon, so I'm just using Korvac's Burning Blade, and I think that's Thuzalin's Archive. It's a fire book. But anyway, these look really great, and if you are interested in getting them, they are now available on Xbox. Let's swap on over to the patch notes here, and let's get into them. Now, I'm not going to read the entire patch notes. I will leave a link to the full post in the description below, but we can just go over a decent part of it. The major new features is the important part in my mind. So percent physical resistance has been rebalanced across the entire game. What this basically means is that physical resistance is now available in more restricted gear slots and in smaller amounts. Now, a lot of my builds have had a lot of items that just don't have physical resistance on them anymore, and the ones that do have much less. But one thing we have to point out here is that to compensate for this change, monsters now deal less physical damage. Let me say that again for those of you in the back. Yes, you are losing physical resistance, but monsters now deal less physical damage. I have tested this on several of my level 100 builds that were able to face tank Shattered Realm level 80 before this patch, and now after this patch they are still able to tank the Shattered Realm level 80, in spite of the other changes as well. Now, these changes were intended to make weaker builds, or builds that were less able to get physical resistance, more competitive with other builds that happen to be able to stack large amounts of it. Now, I had a build that had, I want to say it was 74% physical resistance, but either way, it's a lot of physical resistance, and it now has something like 50% instead of capped, or around about those numbers, and it feels just as strong as before. So don't stress out about this. I do encourage people to go to Steam and download the beta version. This is a playtest. You can see here it's a playtest changelog. Go test it. Don't just complain that you're losing physical resistance, because based on my testing, this is a nothing burger that's being blown out of proportion. But maybe if you're going deeper into Shattered Realm than just sort of 80, maybe it's an issue deeper. I haven't tested that. The other changes is the potions now, they're being put into 3 different categories, and these categories share cooldowns, and you can only benefit from 1 elixir, 1 oil, and 1 tincture at any given time. The Aether Cluster and Potion of Clarity are, of course, exceptions, and the durations have been changed, so small change for potions. We have a Shattered Realm change, which is not major in my mind, about pet deaths. The Crucible, again, pet deaths, or pet bonuses, sorry. And that, again, is not a massive change, I don't think. This one, however, is. The effectiveness of Sunder on Gladiator difficulty has been increased, and there's another line in here somewhere that says that Sunder pretty much everywhere has been increased across the board. Here it is. Increased effectiveness of Sunder on ultimate difficulty by 30%. Do note that this is not a plus 30%, so we're not going from 30 to 60, we're going from 30 to like 39-ish. It's a 1.3 times multiplier, not a 30 flat increase. What follows after this is a whole bunch of itemization changes. That was supposed to scroll, not jump. This is basically them itemizing all of the prefixes, all of the faction equipment, relics, etc. that is having physical resist modifiers being changed. Epic items, legendary non-set, legendary set. There are some changes to, well, pets first at the top here. Baseline physical resist on pets has been reduced on some of the pets. So Briarthorn, Hellhound, and Yeti that had a higher than average, so they're being brought in line with all the other pets. Then there's devotion changes. This is all just physical resistance changes and basic just tankiness changes, really. So some of the Phys Res has been swapped out for armor, and some has been swapped for total speed. I'm not going to go through every single line here. Again, please follow the link below and have a read for yourself. The other major change for this patch is health regeneration scaling kind of across the board has been reduced. Based on my testing, this is a reduction in regeneration of about 10%. So still far stronger than it was last patch, but not quite as strong as it is currently. And that's about it. So there's been a lot of complaints about this on the Crate forums. I do urge you to actually test this before you write your complaint letter, because, like I said, from my testing, it's not really that big of a difference. Having said that, I haven't tested it on Celestials, and some people are saying that Celestials are hitting a fair bit harder. That sort of testing is what is needed to be done to make sure this doesn't go live with huge bugs or problems. So do encourage people to test it, and I'll be doing some more testing myself. And now we're up to date, so thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye for now.